So till now we have seen the norma verticalis, norma occidentalis. Now we'll see today is norma lateralis. That is the view of the skull from the lateral side, maybe the right side or from the left side. Okay, so I will show you the features of the norma lateralis from the right side. So guys, so you can see here. So norma lateralis, what are the structure can be seen? So first we'll see the bones. The bones involved to forming the norma lateralis are the frontal bone here. Okay, then parietal bone, the temporal bone, the squamous part of the temporal bone, mastoid part of the temporal bone, the occipital bone. You can see the squamous part of the occipital bone in here, the zygomatic bone, body of the zygomatic bone and the processes, and the greater wing of the sphenoid. So here you can see the frontal bone, parietal bone, sphenoid bone ka greater wing, and this squamous part of temporal bone. They are forming the H-shaped feature. This is the H. So this area is known as the pterion. So pterion means is the area where when we expose this area, then we will find that underneath this pterion there is a middle meningeal vessel. Anterior division or the parafrontal division of the middle meningeal vessels running along this pterion, crossing this area known as the pterion. So this is very crucial point, that's pterion, because whenever we are doing the operation over here, so we have to take care of that this anterior division of the middle meningeal vessel should not get damaged. Right? Okay, we'll see the other feature. Now you can see here the parietal bone and frontal bone. In between them, there is a coronal suture. Between the parietal and the temporal bone, there is the parieto-temporal suture. This is the squamous type of the suture, sutural joint. Right? Then we find this is more important landmark of this norma verticalis, that is the zygomatic arch. So zygomatic arch is formed by two bones. From anterior side, it is formed by the temporal process of the zygomatic bone. Here you can see the suture, and posteriorly it is formed by the zygomatic process of the temporal bone. So you can see the suture running postero-inferiorly, right? So that is the formed by the suture between the two bones. That is known as the zygomatic arch. So it is, you can see there is a gap between the rest of the lateral part of the skull and the zygomatic arch, right? So this is area. So above the area above this, region above this, the zygomatic arch is known as the temporal fossa. So you can see this area, the temporal fossa, and below that, middle to the ramus of the mandible. If I will show you the ramus of the mandible here, okay. If I articulate it properly, so area or region below the zygomatic arch and medial to the ramus is known as the infratemporal fossa. Got it, guys? So this area is known as the infratemporal fossa, and this is the temporal fossa. Now we'll see what are the structures seen in the temporal fossa. There is the superior, the temporal line is passing from this posterior margin of the zygomatic bone. This is the frontal process of the zygomatic bone articulating with the the process from the frontal bone. Okay, so this is the line, the superior temporal line or temporal line. It is passing over there, and there is the other line that is known as the superior temporal line, but which is fading when we go posteriorly, right? And this temporal line, which is the inferior one, it is passing, making more circle here, and it is coming here. You can see this is okay, and this is passing over the mastoid bone, and this here it is known as the mastoid crest, supramastoid crest, and this supramastoid crest will continue at the upper border of the zygomatic arch. समझे? Okay. What are the structure? Stomach part of temporal bone देख लिया, suture form होगा देख लिया, pterion देख लिया, zygomatic arch. Now you can see this is the posterior. This is the root of the zygomatic arch. There are two, one on the inner and one on this lateral aspect, and this is passing over the external acoustic meatus. Now you can see this is the external acoustic meatus. External acoustic meatus. So this external acoustic meatus is formed by posteriorly by this temporal bone. Okay, and there is the other anterior part is formed by the triangular bony part of the temporal bone that is known as the tympanic bone. Okay, this is known as the tympanic bone, which is triangular. The apex is here, base is here, and the other two sides. So this is the tympanic part of the temporal bone. Fine. So this is forming the anterior-inferior aspect of the internal acoustic meatus. Awesome. Got it? Now we can see here there is the triangle known as the suprameatal triangle. Okay, this is formed by the tangent or vertical tangents along this posterior border, then supramastoid crest here, and the posterior superior border of the external acoustic meatus. So this triangle is having the spine, the spinous process. So through this suprameatal triangle, there is under that there is the structure known as the mastoid antrum. This is the mastoid bone. So there is the cavity known as the mastoid antrum. So we can assess that mastoid antrum through the suprameatal triangle. Behind the ear pinna will be there. So behind that we can feel the spine, and through that suprameatal triangle we can enter into the suprameatal, the mastoid antrum. Okay, for the any surgical process to remove the upset, it is there in the mastoiditis. Got it, guys? And this is the mastoid bone and mastoid process. So what is the attachment of the mastoid process? The attachment of the mastoid process is three structure on the mastoid process. The sternocleidomastoid, सबसे superficial में, then deep to that, the spinous capitis, and then longissimus capitis. And this is the suture between the parietal and the mastoid bone. That is the parieto-mastoid suture we already seen in the norma hospitalis. Okay, and you can see here, if we go more inferiorly, there is the mandibular fossa here on the squamous temporal bone. That is for the articulation with the mandible to form the temporomandibular joint with the head of the mandible. Okay. So, and the attachment on the temporal fossa, the floor of the temporal fossa, there is the attachment of the temporalis muscle. So temporalis muscle is attached to here, and this temporal line is giving attachment to the temporal fascia. Right? The deep temporal fascia is attached to this temporal line, and the floor is attached to giving attachment to the temporalis muscle. And this temporalis muscle gets originated from here and converts and inserted over the ramus of the mandible. Then if we see in the infratemporal fossa, we can see this is the pterygoid process of the sphenoid bone. Got it? The pterygoid process of the sphenoid bone. So between and this is the maxilla, posterior surface of maxilla, pterygoid. So between them there is the fissure. You can see this fissure. So that fissure is known as the pterygomaxillary fissure, and that fossa inside. After entering into this fissure, you will find the fossa. That fossa is known as the pterygopalatine fossa. Okay, so there will be the separate topic for the pterygopalatine fossa and all this, and then we'll see what are the topics, what are the contents of this pterygopalatine fossa. Got it, guys? So that maxillary artery, very important. The maxillary artery, one of the terminal branch of the external carotid artery. So that is the main content along with the other structure of the infratemporal fossa. So it's divided into first, second, and third part. So that third part is entering into the pterygopalatine fossa. So main content of this, one of the main content of pterygopalatine fossa will be the maxillary artery, and also this is the maxillary artery, the main content of also the infratemporal fossa. Okay, on the zygomatic bone here, on the normal lateralis, we can see this is the foramen. You can see here that is known as the zygomaticofacial foramen. And if we go posterior to the zygomatic bone, okay, on the norma verticalis, if you can see here, this is the foramen, zygomaticotemporal foramen. So the zygomaticotemporal foramen is transmitting the zygomaticotemporal nerve and vessels. Okay. So this was about the lemma lateralis. Right. Thank you very much. You can stop here now.